world, on today's delicious steak, despite all of the incredibly thought-provoking and constructive comments on last week's delicious steak from the 9gag army, I still don't like the Amazing Atheist's video. Last week, I opened up quite the can of worms when I featured and briefly responded to a video by The Amazing Atheist about reverse sexism called "It's Only Sexist When Men Do It," and in responding to that, I learned a valuable lesson. If I'm going to respond to a YouTuber whose audience prides itself on being both very intelligent and very good at debating, I shouldn't do it half-assed. I touched on my main points of disagreement with The Amazing Atheist, but I didn't delve any deeper, so this week, let's delve deeper! The video that you guys voted on for me to feature this week to continue the conversation comes from username RussTheBusker.
This is a video response to Dan Brown's video, Sexist Women and Stupid Kids, but more specifically, the Sexist Women. He refers to The Amazing Atheist's video where he talks about The Talk, a show put on by CBS, where Sharon Osbourne, a public figure, makes fun and laughs and jokes about a man getting his genitalia cut off. There is now a double standard where if a man gets his genitalia cut off, everyone can laugh about it. But if a woman gets abused in any way, people are in an uproar, and rightfully so. When a public figure like Sharon Osbourne makes a joke about this goes against every feminist movement for equality that has ever existed. When it gets to a point where men are held down by guilt so much that they cannot be equal, we have a problem.
RussTheBusker sums up pretty nicely what I think is the general sentiment from the comment section last week, that I didn't touch on The Amazing Atheist's main point. And that's true. But I think most of you assumed that because I didn't touch on his main point, that I disagreed with his main point, and that's not true. He is right. You are right. There is a double standard. A man could not get away with saying the same sort of thing that Sharon Osbourne said on TV without the American public calling for his head on a stake. I agree with the literal point of The Amazing Atheist's video, but there's another point that is implied through his style of delivery that I find troubling. What's implied through The Amazing Atheist's style of delivery with "It's only sexist when men do it" is that when you spot an injustice in society, that the appropriate response is to call people names, to whip your audience into a frenzy, and essentially to prepare for a massive flame war. That's a page ripped directly from Rush Limbaugh's playbook. It's needlessly divisive and counterproductive. After watching "It's Only Sexist When Men Do It," I'm not led to believe that The Amazing Atheist genuinely cares about opening people's minds to the very real issue of reverse sexism. I mean, if he did, he wouldn't start the debate by referring to any woman as a c***. You don't fight sexism with more sexism. TJ is a very smart guy with a very smart audience. But sometimes I think they're a little too caught up in the smell of their own farts. I mean, of course we all want equality, but what does equality mean? How do you define equality? True equality is much more nuanced than, if they can joke about genital mutilation, then we should be able to joke about genital mutilation. I had a little back and forth with The Amazing Atheist in the comment section of last week's delicious steak, and if you want to read the whole thing, pause the video right now. But I think I summed up my position on this whole debacle pretty well in 1,000 characters or less. I said, there's definitely a double standard, but you never explore why that double standard exists. Gender roles in America have a long and storied history that your rant ignores. What I like about you is that you're an idealist. You aspire to live in a post-bigotry world where all people and terms used to refer to them are equal. But we don't. They're not. A man calling a woman a comes across as an oppressor attacking the oppressed in a way that a woman calling a man a dick doesn't. As for how acceptable it is to joke about cutting off genitals, again, your argument lacks context. Female genital mutilation is a real problem in many parts of the world. Jokes about it are, therefore, less than funny. Male genital mutilation isn't so widespread. It's limited to isolated incidences like this. That doesn't mean Sharon's joke wasn't stupid, but I feel your longing for pure equality has taken precedence over something you're usually pretty good at. Realism. I'm going to leave it at that for this week. If you have something to add to the conversation, please post a comment or a video response. And I want to try something new with the like-dislike bar. If you agree with my position, please click the like button. And if you disagree with my position, which there's nothing wrong with disagreeing with my position, click the dislike button. Like to see 6? Vote for the next move. Link in the description.